Hi everyone, and welcome to another assembly with me, Matt Beaton, children's author. Today we're going to be talking about writing and about why writing is important and why not to give up on it just yet if you don't enjoy it. So let's take a minute to discuss writing. Some love it, some definitely don't. Okay, I bet there are some of you out there who have already decided that you want nothing to do with writing once you leave school. I know, because I was one of them. Okay, I didn't particularly like writing when I was at school. I didn't mind it if it was in my own time and I could write whatever I want when I wanted to, but writing in school, definitely not for me. When I left school, I went to university and studied computing. I went on to work in advertising. I worked as a web developer for about 5 years before finally becoming a primary school teacher. And it was only when I did that, when I started to read the amazing children's books that are out there, when I started to teach writing and see children's writing, that I realised how much I loved it. So for the longest time, if you'd have told me that I'd be sat here talking to you lot as an author and a writer, I'd have laughed and I'd have probably asked you where you got your time machine from. But that's the way it's worked out. Firstly, then, I think it's important to have a bit of a quick guide, a Matt Beaton guide, to my own personal difference between an author and a writer. Now, some people will say they're the same, that's fine. For me, I think there's a subtle difference. I think it's an important difference. So for me, an author is somebody who writes books to be published and sold, whereas a writer writes things for other things, which is, I know it's a bit confusing. So if I give you an example. So I write children's books, okay, the Monster Academy books, the Shadowland Chronicles and so on. So I consider myself an author. But I also write content for other people, for different projects. So for instance, I write a lot of reading comprehensions for the Literacy Shed. I'm working on an education book at the moment for a company called Wilso, who make amazing books with seeds in the pages. And so for those things, I consider myself a writer. Now, this may seem a bit like a bit of a daft point to make, but a bit pointless. But I think it's really important, especially when we're talking about writing in school and writing after school, because becoming an author or a journalist for a newspaper, there's another type of writer, aren't the only options for jobs that involve writing. What I want you to do is pause the video and for the next 30 seconds, a minute, whatever, just discuss with the people around you what other jobs might be out there, what might be good if you enjoy writing. Off you go, 30 seconds or a minute. Pause it now. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you came up with lots of different ideas, but let's take a quick poll in your class before we move on. Put your hands up if you like going on holiday. Okay, thought so. What about playing computer games? Okay, pets, riding horses, sport. Okay, you get the idea. You are growing up in a world filled with magazines, e-zines, online blogs, review sites, and all the rest of that weren't around when I was a kid, all those many, 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 many years ago. And they, pay writers to test things out and then write about them. That is a job. You could get a job going on holiday to places like this or like this and then reviewing it. You could play all of the latest computer games and write about them. There are people out there now, as I do this video, who have already got a PlayStation 5, who are playing all the top games on it to see what it's like, to write about whether it's any good, to write about the differences between that and the PlayStation 4, and all of those kind of things. There are people out there being paid to do that. Okay, and what about going to football matches, to the Champions League final, World Cups, all around the world, being paid to travel to them, to watch them, and then write about them afterwards? Okay, writing doesn't have to be about writing a once upon a time, happily ever after story, or a diary entry as an evacuee or an ancient Egyptian. If you like those kind of things, and I love them, my next book is based on an evacuee from World War II, ironically, then you can definitely make a career out of that. After all, I've managed it. But if you don't love those things, it doesn't mean that writing isn't for you. Whatever your passion is, there's some way, there is a way out there, there's something out there for you, that you can use writing to make a career from it. Again, pause the video and have a talk with, have a bit of a discussion with the people around you about what are you passionate about. Okay, it really doesn't matter. You know, whatever it is you're passionate about, whether it's computer games, sport, football, whatever. What do you love to do so much that if your teacher asked you to write about it right now, you would love to write about it because you love that thing so much? What is it? Okay, pause the video now and have that conversation. Off you go. Okay, welcome back. This is kind of one of those times when I wish I was there on the other side of the screen, so I was there in class with you, so I could hear all of your answers rather than having to do this through video. But I tell you, in fact, why not write them down, get your teacher to send them through to me? I'd love to hear what you think. If you've watched this assembly and you've had some great ideas for, you know, careers that you'd like to go into, do let me know. That would be amazing. Okay, I think that's about it really for my discussion on writing. But if you do have any questions about being a writer or an author, ask your teacher to get in touch with me. Okay, the links are all around me on the screen. But I also run workshops in school where we talk about being a writer. We look at how we can improve our skills. I kind of give you tips and tricks to get past that. I don't know what to write next, or I don't know how to get started. And, you know, we can talk about all of that kind of stuff. So if that interests you, get your teacher again to get in touch with me. But thanks for listening. Keep an eye out for the rest of my videos. Don't forget to check out my books online. And please don't give up on writing. You know, if you do love writing, if you're one of those children that absolutely loves writing, go out, read as much as you can. Read as many books on as many different genres as you can. Write as often as you can. Write at home. You know, that's the best way to get better. But if you don't love writing, please don't give up. Okay, keep persevering, keep sticking at it. You will find something that you enjoy writing about. Okay, thanks very much. Check out my links, check out my books online, and look out for the next video. See you later.